Our math lesson today comes from lesson 6.6. It is called Compare Fractions Using Benchmarks. I'm going to give you a quick introduction here, and then I would like you to do the interactive student lesson through Think Central and Go Math to go through the whole lesson for it before you do your reteach page. Now, the title is Compare Fractions Using Benchmarks. And just so you know what we're talking about here, a benchmark is a known size or amount that helps you understand a different size or amount. You can use 1/2 as a benchmark to help you compare fractions. Okay, so basically what the benchmark is thinking through a commonly known amount of something, like 1/2 would be pretty common, and using that to help you know if something is more than 1/2 or something would be less than 1/2 to help you compare them. So this little story here, we have David, kind of looks like our David, huh? David made a popcorn snack. He mixed 5/8 a gallon of popcorn with 1/2 a gallon of dried apple rings. Did he use more dried apple rings or more popcorn? So from that story, we are comparing two fractions. We're comparing 5/8 and 1/2 to each other. There's a little bar model of fraction strips here for you to look at. It's showing 1/2 and it's showing eighths. So we would need to show 5/8. I'm going to color in here quick. This one is in halves and we only need 1/2. That's how much of a gallon of apple rings he had. And then he had 5/8 of a gallon of popcorn. So I'm going to go here to my eighths. And since he had 5/8, we'll color in 5. Okay, so as we talked about what a benchmark was, using 1/2 as a representation to think about if another amount would be more than 1/2 or less than 1/2. Here you can see it drawn out in a model to help you. Which one would be more? 1/2 or 5/8? You can see that 5/8 goes over more. So to answer the question, 5/8 is greater than 1/2. So David used more popcorn. Okay, here's what you need to think about with using a benchmark to help you. We've talked a lot about equivalent fractions. And if you think about 1/2, you could probably figure out an equivalent fraction to 1/2 that would have a denominator of 8 that could help you with this problem as well. So let's think that through. 1/2 would equal how many eighths? So think through what we would do to make an equivalent fraction. To change the denominator from 2 to 8, you would multiply it by 4. So we're going to multiply our numerator by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. This is why 1/2 is used as a benchmark. If you have 1/2 of something, your denominator is going to be twice the amount of your numerator. I could continue going writing other equivalent fractions to 1/2. What if its denominator was 10? Go back here to our 1/2. To change the denominator from 2 to 10, I would multiply it by 5. So multiply your numerator. 1 times 5 would be 5. 5/10 is equal to 1/2. Okay, so thinking through 1/2 can help you know if another fraction would be less than 1/2 or more than 1/2. As an example, we know that 4/8 is also equal to 1/2. So if I were comparing the fraction 3/8, I know that that would have to be less than 1/2. Or if I had the fraction 6/8, that would have to be more than 1/2. That's how we use the 1/2 as a benchmark to help us. So quickly here, look here at problem number 2. We're comparing 1/2 to 4/6. Think about what would be equivalent to 1/2 that would have a denominator of 6. Well, that would be 3/6. 3/6 would be equivalent to 1/2. So using that idea of knowing, okay, this is the same as 1/2, how would 4/6 then compare to 1/2? Well, 4/6 would have to be more than 3/6, which is the same as 1/2. So we would say that 1/2 is less than 4/6. Look here at number 3. 3/10 compared to 1/2. So again, we have our 1/2 as our benchmark to think about. What would be an equivalent fraction to 1/2 that would have a denominator of 10? That would be 5/10. So, in thinking that through, would 3/10 be more or less than 5/10? It would be less than it. So that tells us that 3/10 is less than 1/2. Okay, that's what it means in using a benchmark to be able to compare fractions being more or less than each other. Now head on over and do your interactive student edition, and hopefully you have a little bit better understanding of it.